Hello, everybody. How are you? Can you hear me? Good. So, welcome to the Phrasing and Articulation Club. We are going to be doing phrasing today. Um, we are going to wait a couple of minutes because people are coming in, and I went um, to the wrong Zoom meeting, so that's why I was not there. Okay, so London is at home. Okay, yes, Christy. So, how many of you are having a snowstorm besides me? So, I hope everything will stay okay. Um, we might have power outage, so we don't know, but I hope it's going to last for an hour. We are about to have 24 inches of snow, so it's going to be nice for skiing, but I don't. So, um, we are going to be working on Volver, and we are at the last part of Volver. How is everybody doing with it? Okay, so here is the news. Next week, we are going to perform it. So I would like to coach some people that would like to volunteer and play it next week, and I'm going to do kind of a master class on Volver with all the things that we learned um, during these weeks. So we close this piece for a while. Um, we are, I think last time we got to. Did we get all the way there? Nobody remembers? Okay, so let's start with. Uh, so we are going to start on bar 29. Hold on, we have Norman. So we are going to start on bar 29 all the way to the end. So this is a part. So in here we have two different endings, one for the first time, one for the second time. And we are going to look at how we get there in these two different ways. So from bar 29, remember we talked about this piano subito. Uh, so we have a piano subito and then a crescendo. This is something that is very common, piano subitos, crescendos. So as we are going up on the register, we start doing a crescendo and it gains momentum to go all the way to bar 32, where we start to dissolve that melody, to go down and to smooth it out. So we have 29. And now we are going to soften it, so, to make it come down. So two elements that are very important when we are doing things like this. One is different, for example, 16 notes create tension if you have 16 notes going to a downbeat or to a third beat, like da da dum, ba da dee dum, ba da dum, ba da da da. That tends to create tension. When we have notes that are even, for example, the eighth notes that come after, more when you have a descending motif, that tends to create a more relaxed mood in the phrase. So, do we need to do anything else in here to emphasize or to make this melody make sense? Do we need anything else than what is written? Anybody has any ideas? Yes, Chiyo.
I don't think we need anything else, but we can add something else. So, like for bar 32, the main melody
Yes.
goes bum, 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 bum. But we could do something like bum, 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 if if our skills allowed.
Yes, but what I'm saying right now is that these even notes, these eighth notes and the quarter notes, tend to relax a melody.
Mm,
Now, when you do that, when you're doing what you're doing, being you're kind of doing a triplet with
yeah,
two eighth notes, right?
right.
So that creates a little bit of more expectation
Mm,
because it's a triplet. It's not something that fits on the beat very comfortably.
right.
So that will create tension. And it's interesting because we are going to see in the next section that we are going to be using exactly that. So for this one, I don't think we need any other things than the dynamics that we are using in there. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't do anything else. You can do something else. But to make sense out of the melody, we just need, or you can do the piano subito. Okay, so that's enough to convey the mood of the phrase. And
Maestro.
then we're going to go. Yes,
Okay.
Maestro San?
So it's written ralentando. Is it on the?
Yes, it does have a rallentando, which actually I'm not doing much of a rallentando. It's kind of, you perceive it as a rallentando,
Mhm.
but because before we used the 16 notes and now we are using eighth notes, that has the impression of a rallentando. So if I do a real rallentando, for example, it gets really slow and heavy. So it's the feeling of a rallentando. Um, you don't need to do much in there. So and now we are going to go to the next section, which has syncopas. And this is something that we need to work a lot because syncopas are one of the most difficult things that people have. It's a challenge for people to play syncopas in a nice way. So if you play the syncopa something like this, it sounds like nothing, right? So, how do you play syncopas? We don't need to talk much about things that we hear all the time: a syncopa with an arrastre, a syncopa without the arrastre, syncopa, double syncopas. We are not talking about that. How do we make, in terms of articulations and the intention on the syncopas, how do we make it sound good? So the first thing that we had to think about is what is the function of each one of the notes, or each one of the chords. What's the function? So the function could be something that is leading to or something that is departing from. So if we have a syncopa that, let's say, we are leading into the second beat, so see, I'm having a stronger quarter note than the eighth note. And the eighth note is very short, and it serves as a trampoline to get to the quarter note. So, or we can have the downbeat, the eighth note, to be the most important note, and then the quarter note be the consequence of this first note. Something like this. Okay? So there are two ways of doing it. We can't do both notes the same way. So let's practice a little bit those syncopas together. Okay, we are going to do first the regular way, which would be downbeat stronger, and being the second, the quarter note, a consequence of the first one. So that will be something like this. For now, we are going to do it very short without the rastre. Okay, so let's practice. We are going to repeat a few times. So 3, 4, 3, 4. One more time. 3, 4. And last time. 3, 4. Good. Now we are going to reverse that, and we are going to use a soft downbeat leading into the next quarter note, which will be the one with the accent. So it will be 3, 4. One more time. 3, 4. One more time. 3, 4. Again. 3, 4. Good. Now let's add a little bit of an arrastre on the going to into the downbeat. So this one will have a strong accent on the downbeat that will be led by stealing half the beat. Sometimes it could be shorter. It depends on how you want to do it. But you're stealing from the fourth beat going into the downbeat. So this will be 3, 4. So if you think about it, what I'm doing is I'm bouncing that eighth note. I'm using the bounce of that eighth note to play the quarter note. I'm not playing two different notes. I'm bouncing off the eighth note to play the quarter note. So let's do it one more time. 3, 4. 3, 4. It's very important that it comes from the physics of the instrument, not from you pulling the instrument. So we let it fall, and then our foot will land on the floor, rah, and produce the accent. And the second, the quarter note, is on the upbeat. So our foot will be high. So we are going rap, rap. Okay? 3, 4. One more time. 3, 4. Another thing that is very important on syncopa with an arrastre is the cut at the end of the eighth note. We have to land on the floor and take our fingers out. You cannot do this. So I take my fingers out right when all the sound is on that eighth note. So then I produce a very clean cut. So, okay, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4. Very good. Everybody got it? Yes, to you.
So I got it with the exercise, but in this case, if we look at the part at the very end of bar 33, there's this F sharp. So how do
Yes.
we combine that with the arraste if we choose to do that style?
Yes. So that is the next step that we are going to be talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you're going to do is you're stealing half a beat from the bar before. So what you are using is that F together with the chord on the left hand. And then you add the other two notes of the chord on the right hand, right on the second, on the downbeat of the next part. So, so let's count 1, 2, 3, 4. For me, it's better to count 3 and we leave the 4 in inside. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. I'm sorry. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Give me 1 second. I'm getting an emergency alert. Okay. Imminent extreme alert. Get out of the roads. Okay. Let's keep in our road. Let's do it one more time. So 1, 2, 3. And now we are going to add the second syncopa. 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Very good. So, well, time is flying. We are going to do 4 or 5 more minutes, and so we are going to finish this first phrase, and then we go to this. So here we have those quarter notes on the left hand that we always talk about descending quarter notes. We need to keep it straight. Don't try to phrase those quarter notes. Is it descending? Is it? It's like if you had stairs and somebody make some of the steps on the stairs different sizes. It doesn't work. You're going to trip. So this has to go descend and make it in a very even way. So, and that also it's the resolution of the melody. We are going to resolve the melody. That's the direction that we are going. We have this that creates tension. And now we start to dissolve. So here is the first time around. We are going to bar 38, right? So bar 37 has two different ways that we could do it. We could do this if we want to use some of the techniques that we use for phrasing. did I do there? I use a triplet instead of the quarter note and the eighth notes. So but in this case, that triplet doesn't work very well. Why? Because then we have the quarter notes that are following in there, and we are going to retake from the top of the piece. And the triplet, as we said before, it creates a little bit of a tension, a little bit of expectation. And we are just going back to the melody. So that is much more comfortable to do it the way that is written without the triplet for the first time going up. But what happens when I go to bar 39? So what's the difference? Does the triplet work in that case? Yes, no, votes for the triplet. So the triplet works because I'm creating expectation to the grand finale. So I'm using this. So in my opinion, in my taste, the first time around, I will do it as it's written because it's a much more relaxed way. And then it's just leading to the transition to go back to the first part. And in the second, when I want to create the expectation of the grand finale, I use a triplet. Okay, so that's my idea. You can have different ideas, but I'm telling you elements of phrasing that you can use if you want. Okay, and that will be it for this session of the phrasing on Volver. The second time around, you will have to find different things. So for those of you who were not here when we started, I said that next week I'm going to do kind of a master class. So whoever volunteers to play the piece, I'm going to do coaching, quick coaching, because we have many people. And we are going to talk about the elements that you use and the elements that you could have used, or the elements that you didn't use or you shouldn't have used. Okay, so this is it for phrasing and articulations club, and I'm going to see you in a couple of minutes for the variation club, actually in 5 minutes. So see you everybody. Thank you. Bye bye.